Well, it's been a funny old year photography wise, because every time I take my camera out the weather's a bit naff, and then when I leave the camera behind or they're in the car, the weather turns out to be fantastic. And today is a prime example. It was sunshine at home, and then I've driven across the top and it was all misty, very atmospheric. I thought, oh great photography day, and then I've got here and it's just all a bit meh. But I'll still try and take some pictures and I'll see what they come out like. Well, it seems to have taken forever because things keep getting in the way, plans and everything, but I'm ready to develop the film in the Praktika. Okay, so this means I've actually had the film in the camera for a year. It's also been sat in the car as well for quite a considerable time over the summer, so there's no guarantee this film's going to be at its best. It's not the last black and white film I did. The last black and white film I did was on an Olympus trip, and this unfortunately is how it came out. I didn't realise, but the chemicals had aged badly. They'd been stored perhaps not under optimum conditions. It ended up being very spotty and quite weak, so in the printing process I actually had to boost the contrast quite a bit, although you could perhaps argue that it's given quite an interesting oldie world look to it. It's hard to believe that's actually the summer of 2024. So anyway, I've rewound the film out of this, so it's just a question now of opening the door and getting the film out. Oops, and I'm ready to go. Now, normally I use Ilford chemicals, Ilford Sol and the like, but this time I've decided to do things a bit different. I'm perhaps regretting it. I've bought this Flick Film black and white developing kit. Yeah, I really regretted my decision pretty much as soon as I'd ordered it, but let's see what we've got in here. Okay, so I'll open the box and set of instructions here in English and French, which makes sense seeing as it's apparently from Canada. So the developer is a powder, and it looks like it makes 1 litre, which is fair enough. The stop bath is another powder by the look of it. It makes 1 litre, that's great. The only thing that's worrying at the moment is this fix. It looks like you have to make half a litre. Now it does say in the instructions here that you can make 580 millilitres if you're doing 2 rolls of 35mm. Since I've only got a single tank, I think the 500 is probably the way to go for. But the thing that's causing me a little bit concerned is that it says here solution life if in a full stoppered bottle it lasts for 3 months. Now the problem is I haven't got a 500ml bottle in which I can put this, because basically it's got to be filled right to the top with no air in it. So I need to think what I'm going to put that in. I've got a couple of 1 litre bottles, that's no problem. But the 500ml I'm going to have to do a bit of looking into that. Now my film here is the Kentmere, Kentmere Pan 100. I mean, it doesn't say it's pan meter, but there we go. The 100 looks like it's 9 minutes at 20 degrees. So all that's really checking out. Just need to find a 500ml bottle for this. Okay, so I managed to find a bottle for the fix. This old bottle is actually from the first time I did photography, so this bottle is probably the best part of 35-year-old. I've never actually used it. It was a one I never used back in the day. So there we go. So I got me 3 bottles. Okay, now my first problem is that my thermostat doesn't go all the way up to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to have to do it another way. So there we go. Well, I'm having a bit of a problem in that all the labels have started falling off. I think it's because the kitchen's particularly cold. It's the middle of winter at the moment, and I think they formed a layer of condensation, and that's caused the labels to peel off. So I've just put this with sticky tape on for now. But I might have to have another look at that. But otherwise, all done. 3 sets of chemicals. Okay, so this is just going to be a very quick overview of how I develop my films. So we've got this film which is in this little light-proof can here. It's been exposed and it's ready to go. Now, whilst I could, in pitch black darkness, open up this can and put the film into a tray and develop it that way, it's much more convenient to use one of these, which is a developing tank, which is basically a container that is designed in such a way as to make the internals of it light tight, whilst at the same time having space for you to add and remove chemicals. And it also includes this spiral here, which means that when the film is taken and put onto this spiral, there is actually a gap between the film all the way down. So although it's taking up a very small amount of space and also a very limited amount of chemicals, that there is a gap between the layers of the film to actually allow the chemicals to penetrate. The only thing you've got to do, however, is, because the gap's quite small, is once it's actually in the tank, you need to use this stick to wiggle it around in order to mix the chemicals around and make sure you don't get any spots on the film that might be developed less or more than others. So the film goes on the spiral goes into the tank, light proof, catch goes on the top, and there we go. So now, once the film's in there, I can actually develop the film in a normal lit room. Although I do, of course, have to put the film into the tank in pitch black darkness. Now, whilst you could actually just go into a pitch black dark room and do it, it is actually more convenient to use the next little accessory, which is a changing, I think it's called a changing bag, isn't it? Basically, it's got a zip at this end, well, 2 zips at this end, double layered, and it forms a light proof bag. But there's also places for you to put your hands in. So once all of this is inside there, you can stick your hands in, you can do what you need to do in normal daylight, and then once the film's nice and safe in there, you can open the bag, bring it out and do the development. Right, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, the film is safely in the developing tank. All that's left is the film canister, which I had to rip the lid off with my trusty bottle opener, which is on there, and then I had to cut the leader off, again using the same multi-tool, and obviously then had to cut the film off the very end of the spool as well. But everything else is in here, light tight, so now I can have it exposed to the light, and nothing bad is going to happen. Right, next stage. Okay, so this is basically a 5-stage process. The first stage is to use Developer. That basically brings out the image and turns the film black where it's been exposed to light, i.e. giving you the negative. And that is a time critical and temperature critical process. And because it's an analog system, and because you have to do it in pitch black darkness, you have to rely on time and temperature in order to get the right exposure. There is no other way of really doing it. Like I say, stopping the development time exactly when you want it to is what the next chemical does, which is the stop. So basically, you develop with this particular film, I think it says 9 minutes, and then you put this in and it stops the process dead. That's in for about 30 seconds or so, minimum, and then you take that out, and basically the film is developed at that point, but it's still sensitive to light, so when you looked at it in the daylight it would continue to turn black, which you don't want to happen. So you use fix, and this permanently makes the film desensitive to light and gives you a negative which you can keep forever. You then wash it down with clean water for about 10 minutes or so, and that removes all of the chemical from the film. So again, for going forward in time, the preservation of the film, it's nice and clean. It won't get any marks on it because of the chemicals. So that's the fourth stage, and then the fifth stage is to use what they refer to as a wetting agent, although I'm just going to use a bit of wash-up liquid, and use that so that when the film dries, because it's obviously soaking wet at this point, when the film dries it doesn't get any drying marks on it. The whole thing is going to be timed with my trusty Amstrad NC100, which I wrote a program for it many years ago to do the process. So it's set for 9 minutes. The cycle time's 30 seconds. That's how often you have to use the twiddle stick, and use the twiddle stick for 5 seconds, I've said. So once this is running, it'll give me a visual and audio cue to actually do the process. Right, so the first thing I've got to do is to get this chemical here up to 20 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in a bath of hot water and just wait for that temperature to rise, and then I'll start the process. Okay, there we have it. So our chemical is now up to the designated 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're asking the question, well, surely your house is going to be up to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the answer is no, because it's the winter and there's a credit crunch on sort of deal, and fuel's expensive, so therefore no. Right, here we go. So basically you've got to wait 30 seconds, and then do this, and another 30 seconds do that again, and that keeps the chemicals mixed up, and hopefully gets an even development across the entire film. Okay, so we're getting very close to the time now. So we've got 35 seconds left. Right, this is the bit where it might all go wrong. I've never tried doing this before, but here we go. Pull the developer out. Put the stop bath in. Do what you've got to do for 30 seconds. does say in the instructions here is let stand for 30 seconds after you've inverted it. So I'm not inverting, I'm using the stick, but I'll hope those instructions are interchangeable. Okay, now it says actually after the stop bath I've got to exchange the water 3 times. Just something I've never done before, but if that's what the instructions say, then we'll do it. There's the stop bath out. 2. 3. Okay, so that's that stage done. The development's been done and it's stopped. So hopefully everything's in calibration. I'll have a perfectly developed piece of film. So obviously it has to be perfectly exposed in the camera, it has to be perfectly developed, and if those two things are good, we should have good pictures. So now we need to put the fixer in. So this is the fixer. That's my thermostat. So the fixer's been in and out. So this is the final stage. This is the 5-minute rinse procedure. Obviously the film's no longer sensitive to light, so I can remove the light trap. And get our first glimpse as to what's going on in here. Well, I think there's something on there, which is good news. Right, so this is it. This is the moment when you find out if what you've spent the last half hour developing, and in fact what you've probably spent hours and hours out photographing, is in any way here, or if it's been lost. I'm going to add a drop of washing up liquid, which is my substitute for wetting agent. You can see how the twiddle works now, how it moves the chemical around. Okay. This, as they say, is it. And we do have photographs, and they look absolutely perfectly exposed. I am really happy with that. Really, really happy. I still have a couple of blank pictures in here, which is perhaps worrying. Yes, the camera's not behaved itself totally right, is it? It's missed some pictures. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I have some pictures, but I also have some blanks, which, like I say, I'm a little bit worried about, because that would suggest that then perhaps there's something wrong with the camera. I don't know what that's all about as well. Anyway, but I do have the vast majority of the photographs I've taken good. So the next stage is going to be to put them through the scanner, but perhaps I'm going to have a look at this camera as well at some point, just to make sure the shutter and everything is okay.